Hello, good afternoon. My name is Marlo Clark, and welcome to our APM open session for students around the UK and around the world. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Marlo Clark, and I am the Education Coordinator at APM. So I'll be the one leading today. Today we also have Chara and Daniel on the call with us. So before we start, I'll do some general housekeeping for you. So good morning, welcome to our APM student session. Please be aware that this webinar is being recorded and you are in listen-only mode. The session will last approximately 60 minutes, consisting of 30 to 40 minutes of knowledge share, concluding with a question and answer session. Please submit your questions via the question panel during the webinar, and we'll address those questions at the end. So feel free to submit any questions you want there, and afterwards, myself, Chara, and Daniel will do the best we can to answer those questions for you. Following the webinar, the recording will be uploaded to our APM YouTube channel along with the slides to our APM SlideShare. Please allow 5 working days for this. Additionally, this session will count towards your continuing professional development. So I'll cover CPD a bit later in our presentation, which is very important for you as you build your CV and build your LinkedIn profiles. So just know that this session does count towards your CPD as we go forward. Today we are joined by Chara. Chara studied at University of Surrey, and also Daniel, who studied at University of Leicester. So with that, let's get started. No, nothing there. Awesome. So I'll let Chara and Daniel tell you about themselves, how we really run this. We run this for students because we genuinely want to ensure that you're able to build your knowledge and your network base. We understand that during COVID, things where you're at home and opportunities for networking were limited, and we want to help you students to be able to improve those skills and give you opportunities for those as well. So we do this session. The first part would be a bit about APM, and then I have Chara and Daniel share about their experience. We find that impactful, largely because they are where you want to be. You're students, you're studying, you may be doing project management or some other degree, but we want you to know that it's a place for you in project management. And Chara and Daniel will tell you about their experience as they were studying when they were your age, when they graduated, and into their career as well, and the opportunities that they've been able to take advantage of. And then after that, I'll be followed with a question and answer to answer any questions you have. Just know that I will put these slides, all the slides that we're using, I will put those into our handouts section, along with some product cards for our free student membership and our associate membership as well. So with that being said, thank you all for being here. Right now it's about 51 of you that chose to join us on a Monday afternoon. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time and good job on investing time into your future as well. So with that, we'll get started. So as I mentioned, introductions, overview of project management, and student member benefits. So what is APM? APM is the Association for Project Management. We are the only chartered body in the world for the project profession. This year is actually our 50th anniversary, so we've been championing project management with different events, with research, with publications, and with branches as well around the UK and the world to champion the project management profession. And we are here for you as you go through your career. I want to say right away, if your degree is in project management, great. If it's not in project management, that is completely okay. Many people in a profession didn't do a degree in project management. So don't feel there isn't a place for you here. There is a place for you, and we welcome you into the profession. I will speak about that a bit more as we go forward as well. Currently, we have 40,000 members, which is a great achievement for us, and 450 corporate members. Those corporate members join our organization to get qualifications for their staff, but also to be able to help them as well build their network and their profile around the world in project management as they work with us towards their career goals. The organization is an effective way to build your knowledge and your network. As I mentioned on this call, we'll discuss our free student membership, and we do this largely to invest in you. You are the future of the workforce, you are the future of the profession, and we want to ensure that we are able to share with you as your students. So as you go through your career, you have the resources, the knowledge, and the skills you need to progress your career as well. If you do well, everyone does well. So a little bit on the project management profession for the UK economy. It is 156 billion pounds is the value of project management to the economy, which is one of the largest sectors in the UK. During COVID, actually, project management really grew rapidly as everyone was at home and as the world became a lot more global. Companies realized the value of project managers. Of yes, everyone's spread out, everyone's doing their job, but how do we ensure that it's all being done in a systemic way towards the company's goals. So project management is a growing profession as well, and as I said, it's a place for you in project management. That's about 9%, by the way, of the UK economy, and there are 2 million. Well, 2.13 million full-time employees in project management. We really want to expand project management from construction. It is largely construction, but it's also defense, it's also consulting, there are also project managers in law offices, project managers in accounting firms, project managers in supermarkets. So it's a profession that has its touch all over the world, and we want to be able to share that with you as well. So without further ado, I will welcome Chara onto the call. I'll be controlling Chara's slides, so intermittently she's going to go forward the slides. That's completely okay. But with that, Chara, the floor is over to you. So thank you very much for joining us, Chara.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Marlo. Yes, hello. I'm Chara. I'm a project manager with Mod McDonald, and I will speak a bit about myself. So next slide, please. So yes, Marlo mentioned I studied at the University of Surrey. I'm an engineer by background, and I studied civil engineering. And once I finished my university degree, I got a job as a graduate engineer with Arup, and then progressed as an engineer. And I got involved in many interesting projects within the company. And I realized at the time that I was involved only at a part of involved only in a part of a project, which was the civil engineering element. And instead of just being part of only a section of the project, I wanted to be involved in projects from a strategic point of view and to be able to influence the strategy of the project and being part of the holistic process of developing a project, as well as coordinating different teams, stakeholders, which these are all responsibilities of a project manager. So therefore, I progressed to become a project manager first within Arup, and now I'm a project manager with Mod McDonald. Next slide, please. Through my career, I have been involved with many iconic projects, and one of them is Alexander Stadium. Many of you may know has hosted the Commonwealth Games of 2022 last summer, and I was the lead civil engineer at the time and managing my own team. I was also involved in the aquatic center, again built for the Commonwealth Games. I was involved in residential buildings, factories for car manufacturers such as JLR and Daimler, university projects for development of the universities, such as the one in University of Birmingham, the Green Heart project. And as a project manager, I have been involved with High Speed 2. And now with Mod McDonald, I'm working on national highways as a project manager and within the operations team for the renewal and maintenance of roads in the east of the UK. And I have mentioned many times of the word project and being involved in interesting projects, but what is it really a project? Next slide, please. So we have a business as usual, which is the normal execution of the standard operations of an organization, which is your ongoing routine. And on the other hand, we have projects, and projects bring change, and they provide a benefit to society, to the organization, and in something that happens within a temporary time frame with a start date and an end date. And I'll give you an example. So we have the the existing railway infrastructure that is already set up. We have the train stations, the railways, the existing trains, etc. So operating this infrastructure is our business as usual. The operations for this are already established. But if we think about High Speed 2 or the Elizabeth Line, for example, this is a project. These projects bring something new. They bring change. They bring new infrastructure, such as new train stations, new railways, new connections, new trains, faster, more new, etc. And this also brings a benefit to the society. For example, it will reduce the time travel between one place to another. It will bring profits to the organization that are operating these projects, and for these projects will happen within a certain time frame. So that's the difference between our business as usual of the existing railways and the projects that we have, which is HS2 or Elizabeth Line. And for another industry, for example, we can think about Apple. And Apple Store, for example, wants to open a new store, let's say in central London. And that will bring, again, something new, a change, a new store that will may benefit the customers because it's in a more convenient location, or it will increase the profits of the organization because this store brings more income to them. So this is a new project of opening a new store, and once this is established, you will have your normal operations happening again, business as usual. Yes, next slide, please. So we touch on what a project is, but what is also being a project manager means. And project manager is someone who is leading and driving the work of a team towards achieving the project goals, but within a certain constraints of such as time and budget. And this means that influencing people of delivering planned activities and delivering these activities on time, managing constant changes, communicating to a diverse audience with different techniques. And it also means being involved in coordinating and motivating a team towards the same goal. And being a project manager is also a very fulfilling role because you are involved in a project from its concept, from the early stages of an idea of a project through its life cycle, and you see the end product of your project as well coming to life and having a positive impact. So next slide, please. And yes, as Marlo also mentioned earlier, all industries are welcome of becoming a project managers, and because any sort of background, it's able to become a project manager because it's about the soft skills, and it's about being able to influence. It's about negotiation. It's about leadership. It's about problem solving, communication. And mainly it's about being able to learn and adapt. Next slide, please. Here I put an example of a project management roadmap. Perhaps that's something that I would like to follow in the future. And for example, becoming a senior project manager with full membership with the APM, chartered professional, progressing as associate project manager, etc. But this is one example, and there are various different routes of project management profession. You can choose to become a risk manager, a program manager, or commercial manager, anything that you are interested in. And these options are available in a variety of sectors, in many industries, such as infrastructure, in business, in technology, in the industries that you are interested in. So there's lots of opportunities to explore by being a project manager. And to close this, I wanted to give you an advice. First, it's important to be proactive, to be open and engaging with the people that that you're working with. And second of all, as a project manager, it's important to take ownership of the work that you're doing. And once you have a positive impact to the society or your organization, and you're feeling proud of your work or you're doing, it's fulfilling to take ownership of that work and know that you have benefited and you put something impactful and positive to the society. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for listening.
There you go. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Chara. We appreciate your time. So what we'll do, again, type your questions in the question box. I see there's some there already. So we are going to have Daniel present now. And after that, we'll take your questions that you have for both of them. So again, thank you very much, Chara. We appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
now over to you, Daniel.
Afternoon all. As Mal has already explained, my name is Kolawole Daniel Odediran, and you can just call me Daniel. I'll be taking you through my career path as a project manager. I think Chara's already covered a lot of the important parts, so I probably won't go over those again. But if we can go on to the next slide, please. So the content will mostly be about my career so far, the typical roles and responsibilities. But like I said, I think Chara's covered most of this, so I'll probably just highlight some of them, give you a brief insight into the projects I've worked on, and also the skills I believe project managers should possess and opportunities that I think might be available or might be of interest to some of you on this call. Right, so you can probably tell that we've got quite varied experiences. As Marlo said and Harris said, you don't have to necessarily study project management at university. As you can see here, I actually studied computing with management at the University of Leicester. I was in my first year and I went to some of the careers events, and then I believe I spoke to someone from Jaguar Land Rover just to see what my opportunities would be once I graduated. Unfortunately, I was told, although I was studying a computer science heavy course, they would most likely prefer someone who studied computer science directly. And that got me thinking, you know, why have I done this? I think it's probably best for me to have a look into what my future opportunities would be. So thankfully, my union was quite, what would you call it? Quite encouraging. And they suggested that I looked into a year placement. I was lucky enough to get a placement year in my second year at GSK in London. Some of you might recognize this building. But this was quite an interesting experience for me because, as you can see here, I actually joined as a service analyst. If we go on to the next slide, please. So during my time working as a service analyst, I went through different opportunities. So you can see I also worked as a service specialist where I got an insight into the ITIL methodology, which is basically a way of running, I would say, IT projects or IT operations, to be more exact. And then I realized, well, it's good to be managing a service and understanding how services worked, but I didn't really see myself being part of that industry when I graduated. And thankfully, I was working in GSK and I had a lot of opportunity, and I went on to become a project support. I did this for a couple months while I was at GSK, and I realized actually this is something that I really enjoyed. You know, I had the technical experience in terms of working, studying a computer science degree, but then also having that knowledge of what it meant to manage projects and having also a wider understanding of the services part of the business with my ITIL knowledge. To go on to become an interim project manager, I decided to put myself in for Prince 2. You don't have to do this, it's not necessary, but I thought this was something I had to do to show to my director at the time. And when I went back to my university, I spent about 6 months working as an interim project manager, so traveling between Leicester and London pretty much every other day, while also doing my final year degree. So this was quite an interesting experience for me. And although it was quite difficult, I realized that, okay, you know, although I did come into a very technical degree, I actually wanted to be more on the management side of things. If we go on to the next slide, please. So I was lucky enough to have that varied experience at GSK, bouncing across several projects. I believe, one of the projects we worked on was getting some of your toothpaste, your medicines that you might just see in the stores, making sure they had the right number with the changes happening with Brexit. So that was quite, I would say, a very involving project for me as someone that never really thought about things like that. It was quite encouraging. And when I graduated, I had the opportunity to go work for a company called Leidos. We've got typical roles and responsibilities here, but I'm not going to go through those. Like I said, Hara's already explained that, but you can see a cheeky picture of me on the screen. And I just thought I'll put this in here because once I graduated, I had the opportunity to work for the DFE. And this was one of our meetings where we're doing Agile retrospective meeting, where we kind of came back together, went through one of our projects, one of our deliverables, and just kind of said, what have we done well? What can we do better? What perhaps hasn't worked well? And it was quite an intense meeting. A lot of, obviously, when you're working with people, there's going to be a varying opinions. But I thought it was worth just taking a picture to capture the moment. If we go on to the next slide, I'll explain a bit more. So while I was at Leidos, I had the opportunity to work at the DFE, like I mentioned. I had the opportunity to work on different projects using different project methodologies. So you might already be aware of what it means to be, to have a waterfall project versus an agile project. These days we also have hybrid projects as well. But that kind of gave me the experience I needed. And this was when I was a graduate project manager at this point. So after I left Leidos, I went on to Civica, where I worked in a heavily IT-based organization, which is more in line with my degree, and also gave me the opportunity to use all my, I would say, technical knowledge in this organization. So I worked in a SaaS company. A SaaS here means a company that offered software as a service. So we were basically deploying solutions to different businesses. And as Marla said, over COVID, we actually realized that instead of, I know for certain businesses, things were not great, but in the project management or IT field, there was a lot of opportunity. So we were delivering a lot of solutions for businesses who were realizing that they needed to make sure that their staff could work from home, and perhaps an on-premises solution wasn't great. So this was a lot of learning experience for me. But I've just put a note here called M&A. M&A here means mergers and acquisitions. So as an IT project manager at this point, I never really expected to do anything like this, but this was quite an interesting project because, just pardon me, this was a project where we had to integrate an entirely new business into ours. During the COVID situation, my business, Civica, at this point decided that it was a good time to start purchasing a lot of companies, and a lot of the project managers had to pick up the slack. So imagine, expecting that your career moving forward was going to be IT focused, but then now I had to do an M&A project. And I'll just give you a brief overview of what this project entailed. So instead of just dealing with the IT team, I had to work with the commercials, the HR team, even the facilities team. I know I had very difficult conversations with people talking about parking spaces, making sure they got the parking spaces because they were going to be joining this new company and they wanted to make sure they had the same benefits and things like that. So it was quite an eye-opening experience for me. And I realized that, yeah, I did make the right choice because project management didn't really limit me just to what I knew. It was also opening my eyes to other areas in the industry. And that's brought me to my most recent organization, ASDA. Of course, taking my experience from M&A, I realized, well, I don't need to restrict myself to the organizations I work for. I can, pretty much work for any organization. And this is the same for anyone on this call who's kind of wondering where and they would like to work in. I think once you have experience, you're already out there. It doesn't matter if you're interested in the field. It's very doable. So I went to work for ASDA, who is a global retailer, as you're all aware of. But what you're probably not aware of is the fact that ASDA was owned by Walmart, and Walmart has now sold it to private investors. So this now meant that all the IT systems that ASDA was running in all the stores and depots had to be changed, because this was all being sponsored by Walmart. For some reason, it wasn't being done in the UK itself. So I was brought in as one of the infrastructure project managers to do this massive change. And this was quite a very tasking project/program for myself, because I had the job of basically replacing the service that runs all your tills and every IT system in the stores across the UK. So for every store and depot across the UK, my project was replacing the service to make sure that the stores could move on to the new systems and could continue running without causing any issues to those who want to do shopping. So this was quite interesting. It's something I've never done before, but as you can see, it's very different as compared to the M&A project I've done before. And I've now completed this project, and I've now moved on to a new organization. So that's just a very high level overview of my career path so far. If we go on to the next slide, please. And yeah, just in terms of the people skills over my experience, the skills I believe that you need over my experience so far. Number one being people skills. I think that if you have your people skills unlocked, I think you will go a very long way, because one of my managers once mentioned to me, to understand project management isn't really about the projects themselves. Of course, everyone wants to, when you're in this industry, everyone has knowledge of project management. You're all here on this call. You probably understand exactly what a project should be, and if you don't, Chara already gave you some insight into what that could be. But the key bit is understanding people. So project management is more people management, my manager mentioned to me. And that's something that stuck with me. If you understand the people in your team, you understand your wider stakeholders, your project, I think you have 80% of your issues solved. Other skills are very useful as well. Leadership skills, organizational skills, of course, negotiation skills, critical thinking, and just being aware of the industry and the organization you work in. Just a little, what would you call it, comic there, that a project manager dreaming that a project is concluded in time and on budget. For those who are aware, you've probably seen the APM notes that about 80% of projects are not successful. So this is something every project manager has to take on board. Although you can plan for everything, make sure you want to get everything on time and on budget. It's not usually going to happen that way. And this is something I just had to deal with while I was in ASDA, facing the current supply chain issues that we're having across the world. It has nothing to do with the project, but external issues can also affect your projects, no matter how much you're prepared. Just go on to the next slide, please. So yeah, that's just a very high level overview of my career so far. I understand that some of you might be interested in what roles and opportunities you can do as a project manager. I'm not sure if any of you are looking into doing any placement years at the moment, but if you go to these links and just see what opportunities are there, you see things ranging from the business analysts, who obviously help in projects, to actual project support officers, project leaders, project managers, program managers, and etc. So if you're interested, please have a look. I'm sure if you're looking for placement opportunities, some of them will have placement opportunities for you as well. But that's all from me this afternoon.
Wonderful, Daniel. Thank you very much. I particularly enjoyed, Daniel is in IT and kind of products and IT services, and Chara is, in the construction engineering realm. So it really shows you a nice contrast on the different ranges of careers that we can have. So what I'll do now, I'll ask Chara and Daniel to turn their cameras and their mics back on, and we'll take some questions from you. There's some questions in the chat box. So we, between Chara, Daniel, and myself, we'll answer those questions for you to the best of our ability. So the first question we have is, do we need different certifications for each role, like APM, PFQ, PMQ? So what do you think about having certifications for every individual role you have? What are your thoughts?
It's the APM, PFQ. It's a really good understanding of project management, so it's really good to get it early on as well. So it will be a good intro for you before you even you're even involved in a project. So I would say definitely look into that, even at this point of your life, even at the university. And once you're in a company, then you should look into progressing of getting your APM, PMQ, which will also give you a benefit of then carrying on with your chartership and becoming a chartered professional. So I will definitely encourage to start looking into the opportunities that APM offers and these courses, and definitely start right now with PFQ. Yeah.
Daniel, your thoughts?
I agree with that. And I would say it also depends on what field you're interested in. So like we've all said this afternoon, project managers can be found across the industry. But for instance, if you wanted to go into construction, I believe there are some projects that will require you have certain certifications. Same if you wanted to become, working in the fire industry, there would be some certifications you need to get. But for a standard project management certifications, yeah, like we've said, the PFQ, very, very good introduction to what project management is. I did the Prince 2. You don't have to do that. There are also other I would say, I think it's called Agile PM qualifications that you can look into if you want to pay for those yourself. They're about £150, £100. Yeah, just doing things like that, looking into those kind of certifications is what will differentiate you from another person in an interview or when they're going through CVs. You know, you never know. But yeah, I would say look into, do your research, be proactive, like most of us have said on the call this morning or this afternoon.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. And to add to that, I find many students who are worried about doing specific software courses before they get the job. But I do want to add that when you go to a company, if they use a specific software, they will train you in that. But it's largely to know the fundamental knowledge of project management that you would get from the PFQ. Also, another good program is also Microsoft Office projects as well, that many use. So if you do those ones, find some other courses online. But as for the more expensive courses, your company will send you on those as they hire you and train you in the role. So don't feel you need to know everything before you get the job. You know, focus largely on, you know, the fundamentals of it, the basic knowledge, those soft skills, because in the interviews, they will largely look at your soft skills as well, how you communicate, how you present yourself. So thank you very much for those answers, both of you. Another question here is, did you find it difficult in the tough market to get into project management? I know you both kind of went through graduate roles, so could you speak on that a bit, on your experience getting into project management?
Do you want to go first, Chara?
Yeah, I went first earlier. You can go first now.
Okay,
Teamwork,
no
love
worries.
it.
I would say it depends. So not everyone's experience is the same. So for me, it was fairly straightforward, but this was about 5 years ago. I was working in an organization that gave me opportunity. So by the time I was leaving GSK, I had quite a varied experience working on different projects. So that, of course, might have helped me get my graduate role after that. So I think it depends, personally, is what I would say.
I will agree that it depends, but there are so many opportunities out there right now. The companies really need project managers, so yeah, be active and be proactive of looking out for any advertised opportunities. See the requirements that they're asking. When I applied for my job as a graduate engineer, I just followed the standard process of the company and through the interview, and then got the job. And through the company, I progressed to become a project manager. But at this point in time, I think there's so much demand in project managers. So yeah, just keep an eye out there to see what is needed, and also it will be both ways. You should be looking for something that interests you, and it's really important to find something that you like. And once you are interested in it, it will be shown as well in an interview that you really want to do it, that you're motivated. So yeah, just look into the opportunities, and I'm sure you'll find something that suits you.
Thank you both. I'm really happy you mentioned your graduate opportunities, and I'll cover this later as well, but I'll cover it now because it is very important. You both mentioned that you went through graduate opportunities to get into project management. So your degrees may not have been in project management, but I want to let everyone on the call know that graduate schemes are a fantastic way to get into project management. And most companies have them. As you may know, companies pay into a pot with the government, and then they must actually spend that pot on young employees or they lose it. So companies are actually growing their graduate scheme arenas, and that's available to you. So a great way to get into project management is to find a graduate scheme in a company that interests you. And as a student member, we actually send you a student member update every month, and that contains 3 active graduate schemes. So if you want, you can find out about other routes to get into project management. There's one of our ambassadors, James. His degree is in geology, so nothing at all near to project management. But he graduated. He was looking at opportunities. He found a graduate scheme in project management, and applied. In an interview, he used his experience in geology to be able to link it to managing a project, motivating others, working with stakeholders, and now he's working for a large company in project management through a degree in geology. I saw there was a question here about being in the music industry and getting into project management. Yes, project management is in the music industry. Every concert you see has many project managers getting all that equipment, all the singers, all the stages, getting everything to the venue. So yes, it is available in that area, and it's growing as well. So become a student member. You'll get those opportunities from us every month with graduate schemes available to you that you can apply for. So another question we have is on networking. How did you go about building your network, and what are your networking tips? Chara, we'll have you go first this time.
Yes, networking. It's um, it's really about being open to opportunities such as events. For example, APM has lots of different events of getting together, of getting to know people from the industry. So it's one thing to get yourself out there, get to know people, and have acquaintances that you never know. They may be in the future be in a company that you may be interested in, and you have a connection there. Another important um, way of building your connections is through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, and yes, just go follow the companies that you're interested in, the people that are active in LinkedIn from those companies, any talent acquisition people that they will be looking for new talents such as yours. And yeah, I think really being open to attend events and speak to people and socialize in that sense, as well as being active online through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really powerful. So if you don't have LinkedIn accounts, or you're not very active, I will encourage you to create one or start being active in the sense that you follow what's the updates on the companies that you're interested in. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, pretty much Harris covered most of it. I would say you're already doing the right things by joining this call today, by being in an event like this. I know APM also hosts university events. So I was in Leeds University a couple weeks ago doing similar events. And yeah, just finding out about events like this, joining them, meeting people. If you can do face to face, that's fine. LinkedIn, like we've said, is invaluable. I think a lot of people are quite worried. I've spoken to a few people I mentor, and they're always worried about taking that first step and messaging someone who's doing a job that they want to do online. I would say, yes, I understand the hesitation, and not everyone is going to get back to you. I had situations where I would drop 10 messages and I will only get 2 back. But the point is, the 2 that got back to me gave me life-changing knowledge that has helped me get to where I am. So I wouldn't basically what we've been saying, just be proactive, keep doing as much as you can. If you find, if you're, I would say I classify myself as an introvert. I don't like doing stuff like this, which is why I'm doing it, because I know I need to keep doing it to get better at it. So if there's anyone like that on the call, I would say doing things out of your comfort zone, especially if you know, okay, this is something I need for project management. I need to go out there, I need to speak to people, I need to understand what else I need. That's how you learn, okay, this is my weakness, this is how I improve it. So just be proactive and try and, break those glass ceilings yourself.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed how both of you mentioned LinkedIn quite a lot. I'll spend a minute here on LinkedIn. We go to events, we meet people, we shake their hands, we get their name, and we add them on LinkedIn. Now, the important part now is that you've done all the hard work to get that connection, right? Like that person has a amount of respect for you, and they want to help you. Part of it is utilizing your network as well. So yes, meet them, add them on LinkedIn, but also interact with them. Comment on their posts, like their posts, ask them questions. People genuinely want to help you in your career as well, but they can only help you if you ask them to. And Daniel mentioned he's an introvert, and it is difficult. It is. I'm an introvert as well, but I was able to use LinkedIn as well in my career, largely by just sending out messages. Find 5 companies you want to work for, add them on LinkedIn, find employees that work for those companies, and ask the questions you're asking us right now. Ask them, because they genuinely want to help, because they were once where you were as well, and they would love the opportunity to share with you. But you must go and be proactive, as both of them said, and ask for that help. So yes, it's great to network and expand your LinkedIn presence, but also be sure to invest and utilize your LinkedIn profiles as well. Because when you meet one person, you meet them, but their network can be your network as well. So be sure to always utilize your network as well. Add people there. Add me on LinkedIn right now if you want. Create a LinkedIn profile, add me on it, add others on it, and engage them as they go. So one more question we will take, both of you. If you were in your second year of your degree, what advice would you want right now? So think back to when you were 21, 22 years old, finishing in your degree, working through it. What advice would you have wanted at that moment that you can share right now? Something you've learned throughout your career, a tip or a trick. What advice would you give yourself a few years ago when you were a student?
I can go first for this. So there are two things that first sprung to mind is confidence, being confident in your experience and not, I would say, well, not being afraid to have fun and looking into things like the APM challenge. I know I missed that on my slides, Marlo, but I think those are the things I'll point out. The confident part being the fact that, yeah, so this also goes back to the networking elements as well. I guess I'll dwell on this for a bit then. So we were speaking about networking, we're speaking about having fun. This is something that APM does. For those of you who are not aware, there is the project management challenge where you get to work with other project professionals from across the UK, and you're given a brief. You're meant to deliver a project. I think it's usually within an organization, but for those who are worried about networking, this is one way to get yourself out there. And this is us basically selling cakes, planning events, and we had to go on a stage in Edinburgh with about 300 people and explaining things like our risk, how we spent our money, what kind of issues did we face, how did we overcome them. So just don't think that project management is just going to be work. There's always going to be opportunities to have fun. So try and have fun. Now, going back to the issue or the comments around confidence, is I realized that a lot of times I held myself back. So there's something that I didn't mention today, and it's the fact that a lot of you here might think you don't have project management experience, but you already do. In your day-to-day lives, there are things you've managed, there are events you've managed. I remember using, my university had this event or this program called the Lesser Award, which was meant to build your work life, your work skills, basically, to get you prepared. And because I did stuff like, hosting football games, charity football games, and then, I didn't think that was a project. But then I remember in one interview, it just occurred to me because I was running out of examples to kind of mention, and I mentioned that. And the manager was quite impressed with that because he said, everyone just talks about all their job experiences, but I've never seen someone use a football event as a project management example. So be confident in your experiences so far, look deeply in what you're getting involved in. I think for those of you who are joining this calls, I have faith that you're very proactive people and you've already been doing things that you perhaps have already figured out this is a project I'm managing, or you haven't figured it out. This is that moment where you kind of have, I would say, look internally and see what you've done that you can, talk about, you can use to show, yes, I might not have that paid experience that you're looking for, but this is something else I've done. This is dedication I've done. This is where I volunteered to run this because I wanted to get that real life project management experience. Just be confident in your skills, and I think that will take you a long way.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
This is indeed a great example. It's a great advice, and I would like to stress on that we all have been doing project management in our day-to-day life. And as Daniel mentioned, maybe he hosted a football game, but you can also take examples from your university experience so far, managing your courseworks and university activities. And this is project management. If you're able to get a paid job somewhere to put into your CV, that will be great. But you already have that experience, and trust in yourself that you're in university. You're already willing to learn, and you're willing to adapt in the world of the professional work. And in project management, it's really important to be willing to learn, and you can demonstrate that. You can demonstrate your project management skills in your day-to-day life. And I will also say to myself in the second year, get your CV ready, get some examples down, have it ready there to go back and improve it, take notes, ask people. It's really good to ask people who have experience. So carry on doing what you're doing, attending here, this event, and any future events will get you the tips that the information that it will be really important for you in the next few years for your career, and how to guide you of getting where you want to be. So yes, just be active as well in the APM world.
Wonderful. Wow, thank you both very much. The CV tip is great. Get the CV ready. One more question before we end. I know you both went through graduate routes. What month did you apply, and what month did it start? So how long was the process to actually secure your role from beginning to end?
As a graduate,
Project manager, yeah. Wait, when did you apply for the role? I mean, when did the role actually start? I know it's a very long process sometimes. You may not remember it exactly. You have any idea?
I think it depends on the company when they open the application date. So it's important to have a look to see when the start and end day of the application dates are. Some of them start in this just before the year ends for next year to start in September.
Yeah.
Usually the graduate programs start in September. I personally applied around June time, and I got my my position secured in August. So it was a
Absolutely.
couple of months, but
Mhm.
you can get your position secured early, but it doesn't mean that you cannot get anything later on as well.
Yeah. Daniel, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with that. So for me, I guess this goes back to the previous question because I already did the placement year. I was already looking from the September the year before.
Mm.
Now, unfortunately, I wasn't lucky. I didn't get a role till about May, the next year. So, and then I think the same month, then I got confirmed that I got the role. So, if it depends on how proactive you are, I would say just start looking as if you want to start looking now, understand what you need to have in your CV. If you're I think most of your second years, you've got time to make sure, okay, well, this is what I need to build my CV to look like. So by the time it gets to whenever those companies are hiring people, your CV is already built, it's already ready for, like Chara said, it's already ready for the application. But yeah, it just depends. For me, it was quite interesting. But when I got it in May, it was just very straightforward. It was just okay, did the interviews, went through the process, and I got the feedback in the same month as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I asked that question on purpose because largely, companies will post them right now, November, December, and these opportunities start next year, next August and September. So as they both said, be proactive, largely getting your CV together right now, building your LinkedIn presence, but also start applying for graduate schemes right now because it's a long process between when you apply for it and when you actually start. So, don't wait till you graduate, don't wait till the summer. Someone asked, is there a website to look on? There's Bright Network that posts a number of them, but also find companies you want to work for, Google their name and graduate scheme and see what comes up. And also, as a free student member, we also send out graduate schemes to you every month as well. Daniel, you had
Just
something
going
for
to
me.
say, one thing that I would say is your university is a lot more helpful than a lot of people tend to understand. So my uni had a whole body that basically helped you with applying for interviews. I went to a lot of mock interviews, and when I say mock interviews, I don't mean going to an event where they just gave you advice. It was literally one-to-one with people. Someone going through my CV saying, actually, the way you answered that question didn't really reflect your experience you have in your CV. So I would say look at what services your uni provides, because you will find that there's probably people who are just waiting for you to turn up and use those services.
Wonderful. Chara, any final words?
I guess be proactive. I think that's really that's really important to be proactive and use the facilities of your university. Dana is absolutely right on that. You'll find lots of help there, but also ask your friends and colleagues and what are they doing. And it's really good to know that someone else is going the same as you, and you can always help each other. But university, it's a great help at this point. I remember my university also had lots of people supporting with interviews, with the CV reviews. So yeah, have a look at that as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for bringing that up on the resources available at universities. Again, thank you both very much for joining us. You really provide a lot of valuable information. Speaking of being proactive, there are 77 of you on this call right now. So this is the first step in you being proactive. So congratulations to all of you for being here. You know, this event was advertised by your uni or by APM, and you chose to be here, and you chose to stay and hear the advice and experience of Chara and Daniel. So thank you both very much for your time. We genuinely appreciate it. In the next 10 minutes now, we've talked a lot about what APM offers, and APM events, APM qualifications, the graduate schemes. So I want to spend these last few minutes talking about the APM student membership. You would ask all these great questions, and the questions largely were answered by Chara and Daniel. And an additional layer of that is the APM student membership that's available to you. With this membership, you have access to all of our resources, well, to our digital resources, our networks, and our events. Most importantly, the events are incredibly important. We do events all over the UK. And these events are designed purely for students to network with companies who are hiring. They may be a panel event, they may be an event with other students, young professionals, but they're all angled towards you and your career development. We also have webinars like this, a few a week as well, that you can join on. You join these webinars, you get great information, great knowledge. There was one last week on the how the Met Office uses the meteorological office, how they use project management. So you do those courses, but with that you also get CPD credits as well, and those go on your LinkedIn profile. So whatever you do from this point forward, if you're on this webinar, post your on your LinkedIn page. You go to a different webinar, post that too. You know, but you really want to make sure that you be proactive, you build your brand. A lot of what you're doing is brand building as students. You get a degree, that's part of your brand. Also, your qualifications and your associations as well also build that brand as well. So, becoming a student member is the first step in your career journey. When you become a student member, you also get an APM student member badge over here on the right. Put that on your LinkedIn profile and put that in your email signature. So when people get a message from you, they know that you're APM member and you're building your career as well. All right, so feel free to become, I implore you to become a free student member. Go to the APM's website, membership student. You are all eligible. Um, you are eligible right now. Just fill the form out, and odds are you will be confirmed as a student member to get access to our events, our networks, and our resources. So I will go through now a bit of the benefits of being a student member for you. First off, they mentioned the qualifications. You can do the PFQ, but as you go through your career, the PMQ and the PPQ are there for you as well to build your network, your knowledge, and and your brand in the eye of your coworkers and employers in the future. You can become chartered. That's a worthy goal to have in the future. Chartership comes 5 to 7 years of experience. We have about 2,500 members, and we first got chartership in 2018. Some of your unis actually are accredited by us, our records assessments, and those will give you a shortened route to chartership. So please talk to your course leaders about that as well. I mentioned CPD, which is continuing professional development. Being on this call gets you CPD credits, and CPD is a great way to show employers that you have been investing in your career even before they hire you. So being on this call, you get 1 hour of credit. Any webinar you do with us, you also get CPD credits as well. There's an online tracking tool on our platform when you're a student member that you can use. So please continue to attend webinars, but also get the credit you deserve for attending these webinars as well. So track your CPD, put it on your LinkedIn profile, and definitely put it on your CV. Companies love to see it. It shows you're proactive. It shows you're an active learner, and it really will go a long way in showing them the kind of employee you will be for them. We have our competency framework. It's a great way of seeing where you are right now and what you can improve on. So you go in, you answer some questions, and it gives you a chart like this. This is my line manager's competency framework. So it shows, on 1, 2, he has some work to do. On the ones further out, he's really competent. But this is a great way as well to find out the skills you need to improve on and take a course in those skills to then show your employer, I took the APM competency framework. I saw that I needed help in my capacity development and I addressed it in this way. It gives you a perfect answer to that question of tell us a time you had a challenge and how did you overcome it. So take the competency framework assessment as well to see where you stand and see how you can improve. I mentioned we have APM branches. Daniel is a member of one of our branches. This is a great way, again, to network, to meet other people in project management. And even though you're a student, you can become an APM branch member. As you can see here on the left, they're all over the UK. You can join that branch, and then you could literally become a peer of these other project managers. You'll build events with them, you'll build networks with them. But when you become an APM branch member, you are their peer, you are working on the same level as these established project managers, and that goes a long way as well for you in your career. We also publish research, so if your uni is involved in APM research, you can be a part of that. We also have SIGs as well. The SIGs are also a large part of the research, so here we have different SIGs that are available where you can do research with them and have your name published on research as well. So here is some publications we've had recently on why projects fail, women in project management, and different behaviors needed in project management. There was a question on money and what the jobs pay. We do research every year with companies around the UK on their pay scale. So we ask about a graduate scheme. A graduate scheme may pay between £25,000 and £30,000. And then as you progress in your career, these resources on our website show you a good way that you're able to see the pay range as it goes forward in your career. I mentioned the graduate schemes. These are 3 live graduate schemes right now that were sent out in our November student member update. So when you're a student member, you receive an email from us every single month with events available to you, with webinars available to you, and also active graduate schemes as well. Please remember, graduate schemes, these applications are for opportunities starting next September. So apply right now, get your CV together. If you want help with your CV, add me on LinkedIn. When you finish your CV, send me a copy of it. I'll take a look. But there are many people that want to help you. So feel free to add people on LinkedIn and also actively engage with them as well. But again, these graduate schemes are available right now, and every month you get 3 new graduate schemes to your email that are currently active and accepting applicants. These are usually from our corporate members that send these to us as well for you. And APM mentoring. This is one benefit that is not available to our free student members, but it is available to our associate members. There was a question we couldn't get to asking about mentoring, someone being not a UK resident, someone being an international student. We completely get it, we understand. APM mentoring is available to our associate members, where you can actually find on our mentoring platform that APM has, you can find a mentor that fits you. So if you want an international student mentor, you can find someone who was also an international student and find out from them firsthand how they were able to work through the process and build a relationship with them going forward to be able to mentor you throughout your young career. So this is available to our associate members. Lastly, our associate membership is heavily discounted right now. It's our 50th year, so we're giving 50% off our associate membership. So if you do want access to that mentoring, you can become an associate member. It's usually £142. It's available right now for £71 for you. So again, if you're an international student, any student, and you want access to APM mentoring as well as an associate member, please feel free to become an associate member with this discount. However, right now it is 1:30, so good timing on our part. But again, thank you very much for joining us. Add me on LinkedIn. My name is Marlo Clarke, MarloClarke. Feel free to add me there. find others to add on as well. Find companies you want to work for, build your network, become an APM student member, put that badge on your profile as soon as you get it. And though that is a great start towards building your career. You've joined us today. We genuinely appreciate that, and we appreciate you taking time to invest in your career as well. So with that, thank you very much for joining us. Daniel and Chara, if you'll join us one more time, please, as we bid our delegates goodbye. But again, any more questions you have, feel free to send them to us, to send them to me or to Chara and Daniel as well. I will put some handouts in the, there's a handouts bar there on the left, on the right. I'll put some handouts in there right now for you. It will include these slides, and it also include some discount codes as well, and our product cards. So, Chara, any final words you'd like to share?
Good luck with your career. You're doing the right thing by being here, and I think you have a lot of information and guidance to progress really well. So good luck with everything.
Thank you very much. Daniel. Like Chara said, I think you're all making the right decision being here today. I would say do whatever you can to, you're going to a field still quite competitive, although there are jobs out there. So do whatever you can, get whatever experience, be proactive, and I'm sure something will work out.
Wonderful. Thank you both very much. You gave up your time during your work day, during moving, and just know we at APM appreciate you and all that you do for us and with us, all right? And again, when you were students, you wanted guidance, and you're giving of your time now as professionals as well. So I hope you all are also proud of yourself for the work you're putting in helping other students as well. So with that,
Marlon.
You're welcome. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. We at APM are here for you, so please let us know how we can help. With that, everyone have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Thanks, Chara.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.